discuss Kyrie Irving speculating on Bill Gates's investments. So Bill Gates is the private owner of a large chunk of farmland across the United States. And Kyrie Irving on a recent Twitch stream was, giving his thoughts on how weird he finds it that Bill Gates owns so much farmland. And he even, said that Bill Gates owns a lot of the water. I had never heard this before. The article that we are going to pull up here tries to do a little fact checking on some of the stuff that Kyrie said. But yeah, so Kyrie was on a Twitch stream and was just talking about Bill Gates and his questionable ownership of farmland and water, how weird he finds that to be. This says Kyrie Irving calls Bill Gates' land and water ownership weird. Kyrie Irving used a recent Twitch live stream to question Bill Gates' footprint in U.S. farmland and water rights. So I'm going to go ahead and skip the quotes. According to Benzinga, one person asked Grok, Elon Musk's AI chatbot, to weigh in, and it replied Gates owns around 270,000 acres of farmland, which is about 0.03% of total U.S. farmland, making him the largest private owner, but not a majority. He doesn't own most U.S. water rights. They are tied to land and regulated, not dominated by an individual. Another ex-user argued that concentrating control of food and water could represent an outsized influence. So what does Gates own? According to the Land Report 100, the Microsoft co-founder, holds 275,000 acres of U.S. farmland across at least 18 states, about 0.03% of America's 900 million farmland acres, making him the nation's largest private farmland owner, but far from a majority landholder. A 2022 deal in North Dakota drew attention when Red River Trust, linked to Gates, bought 2,100 acres from Campbell Farms for $13.5 million. The purchase was reviewed and approved by the state attorney general. On water, information does not support the claim that Gates owns a majority share of U.S. water. While some land transactions can include water rights, those rights are highly regulated and vary by state. There's no credible indication he controls a portion of national water supplies. Irving's recent comments subsequently resurfaced a 2022 Reddit AMA in which Gates wrote, I own less than 1 in 4,000 of the farmland in the U.S. I have invested in these farms to make them more productive and create more jobs. There isn't some grand scheme involved. In fact, all these decisions are made by a professional investment team. So here is Kyrie Irving speculating about Bill Gates owning land and water.
The Gates family or Bill Gates owns a lot of the, land in North Dakota. I think that's weird. He owns majority of the water in the United States. I think that's weird. Whatever. That, weird. This to each his own. This for informational purpose only. But at the same time, it's just like when you go to the grocery store and you see certain products that are on there that, they spray with a.
That was about it there. But yeah, you get the point. So he was getting into other things. I guess he was going to talk about the food industry and spraying pesticides and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, what did you think about Kyrie's comments there? You're muted.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, I mean, the fact checks they're gonna come, but I think the more important part of this conversation is, um, more of the whys. He states that yes, that he's doing it to create more opportunities, and as an investment, his investment team came up with this idea, and one can argue that hey, people are always going to buy food, so why not invest in farmland? If you're going to have all of this farmland, you might want to get your hands on some water somehow to protect your investment and all this other stuff. So one can say all of those things, but I think more or less where Kyrie was coming from is in the sense that why does one man? No, he doesn't own the majority, but he is the one single. He owns the most. And why does a computer man own the most farmland in America? He doesn't just stop in America, by the way. He's well into Africa as well with buying farmlands and stuff like that. So why is Bill Gates so invested in buying farmlands? Why is he so invested in pandemics? Why is he so invested in AI? These are fair questions. I think somebody that is invested in all of those things and not being a tech giant, I think that's weird. If you're a tech giant, just worry about your tech stuff. So AI, I guess that's up your alley. But being farmland and getting involved in pandemics, I don't see the correlation. And but Bill Gates is very active when it comes to everything outside of computers, and everything about people. So he can say, Bill Gates, that is, he can say that, hey man, I'm just a businessman making business moves. But I agree with Kyrie in the sense that you might want to look into these guys that have that do what he does with their investments. That is so what's the word I want to say? Vocal about the state of the future, because he doesn't come off. He comes off whenever Bill Gates is talking about stuff, he's talking about things in a sense that he's trying to look out for the best interest of mankind. However, everything that he's talking about that could be threatening mankind, he's like an owner on that stuff, or he's involved in it. So, me personally, I don't trust Bill Gates myself. I don't know what he's up to. I think it is weird. But Kyrie has been on his Twitch streams, streaming like he doesn't have a job. Like he's not making millions of dollars.
Well, when you rehabbing, you got a whole lot of time to stream.
Hey man, hey, I guess he's got FU money now, because that's how he's talking. He is talking like he's got FU money at this point. So I'm wishing Kyrie the best, man, and try to stay out of harm's way. But I do agree with him that people need to look more into what Bill Gates is doing globally. It's not just in the United States, and try to piece together why a computer man is so involved with how humanity is going to be playing out. But what are your thoughts, man, on Kyrie Irving's calling out Bill Gates, saying that him being the largest shareholder in farmland in the United States is a bit weird. What are your thoughts, man?
Well, last time I checked, wealthy people aren't in the business of becoming less wealthy. There's no amount of money that you can give a rich person and make them feel like they're rich enough. All rich people want to do is get more money. And I do know that one of the few 100% appreciable assets in the world is land. There are very few things that you can invest in on this planet that are guaranteed to appreciate in value over time. One of those things is land. So just purely from the standpoint of being able to secure his generational wealth literally into perpetuity, to me, it makes sense that he would buy farmland, because land is literally one of the only things in the world that cannot depreciate no matter what happens. I don't care what happens with AI. I don't care what happens with pandemics. I don't care what happens with natural disasters. I don't care what happens with technology. I don't care what happens with currency. I don't care what happens with the world economy. If any of those things shift and change over time, it is not going to impact the fact that land is a guaranteed appreciable asset. So Speaking purely from a basketball, speaking purely from a business point of view, um, he's doing what the rest of these wealthy people do. As far as I'm concerned, they're all up to something. And the thing that they're up to is retaining as much of their wealth as possible and growing their wealth as much as humanly possible. Mark Zuckerberg built a compound in Hawaii on a whole bunch of land that he owned, that he paid for. And there was a whole lot of hoopla. There was a lot of people wondering why he was doing this. Why is this dude over in Hawaii building this huge underground bunker? Does he know something we don't? What's coming? Is there something up? And thus, up to this point, we haven't heard anything, but the guy still has this huge underground bunker over in Hawaii. And the thing is something coming? Maybe. Is something not coming? Maybe. But I do know one thing: the guy owns the land that thing is on. It will continue to appreciate over time. And I don't know how involved he is in the day to day with Meta, but one thing that these wealthy people do is want to get more wealthy. One thing that I'm never going to buy is that they are doing these things purely out of benevolence. Like, oh, I care about the future of humanity, and everything that I do is with the intent to progress mankind forward and look out for everybody. I don't believe that. I believe that at best, that's a secondary motivation to their primary motivation, which is becoming ungodly wealthy. That's what I think these people care about. Even I don't give a damn how much they donate to charity. I don't care how much philanthropy they're involved in. They can write that stuff off so that they're not paying it on taxes. These people want to become as wealthy as humanly possible, Bill Gates included. I don't give a damn what he does with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and all of that other stuff, whatever. This guy wants to be as human. This guy wants to be able to be as wealthy as possible, literally until an asteroid comes and wipes us all out. Like, until the day that happens, he wants to be able to be generationally wealthy and pass that on to future generations in his bloodline. That's what these people care about, even if it comes at the expense of people. And this notion that, he's building this to create more jobs and all of that kind of stuff. I believe that. I do believe that. And here's why. Because the more regular jobs that you create for people to be laborers in, the more you're going to funnel people into the slavery system that lines the pockets of all the people at the top. See, people in Bill Gates' position and Mark Zuckerberg's position, the one thing that they need more than their wealth is they need labor. They need labor. Without labor, they can't continue to be where they are. And so if he can have however many hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland that he has in order to till land, in order to, be able to, create jobs for people. Yeah, that sounds like a nice thing to say, but really all you're doing is funneling people into labor, perpetual labor. Modern day enslavement is what I call it. Because that's what corporations need, is more labor. I remember learning in elementary school that Earth's most important natural resource is people. It isn't oxygen or trees or concrete or animals. That was one of the main things that I learned in basic science class in elementary school, that the world's most important natural resource is humans, people. And humans, as the world's most important natural resource, are also most needed by people in Bill Gates' position, because they can't continue to do what they do if not for labor. So I do believe this idea that part of this thing that he's invested in with his land portfolio. I don't know about the water, so I'm not going to speak on that. But when it comes to the land portfolio, I do believe that creating jobs is a part of that. I also think that it's a spin to make it, from a PR standpoint, seem positive. Yeah, we want to give people more jobs. To what end? What does that really do for anybody? Really, I don't care how many different Amazon warehouses you build. These people are still underpaid. You still can't afford a livelihood on a single income if you work in an Amazon warehouse. So what good is that really? And I don't care what jobs are created via Bill Gates's ownership of all of this farmland. None of those jobs are going to be able to afford individuals with the ability to be able to earn a livelihood that enables them to live completely autonomously and on their own. Not in this economy with the standard of living the way it is. So all this is just more labor opportunities for more big wigs to become more perpetually wealthy over time. So is it suspicious? Not to me, because I know what the end game is per se. But is it as benevolent as individuals in Bill Gates' position would have it seem? In my opinion, no. This is just more business as usual.
Yeah, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. Um, and I would just say this: Bill Gates has a lot of stuff uh, tied to his name where people just generally don't trust the man. Um, he'll go on a TED talk and talk about the Earth population is a little too high. He'll say other things about other stuff where it's like, what are you really out here doing, man? Weren't you just a Microsoft guy? Why do you care about this or that? All these things.
Because these people are narcissistic beyond measure. They really believe that their success in life has given them this superiority complex in which they believe that it is a part of their duty to do what's best for humanity.
Correct.
He believes that it's part of his job to push us forward as if he knows what's best.
Right.
Musk does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Zuckerberg, all these guys do the same thing. They do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They just believe that it's a part of their mandate in life to do these things.
Correct. And in the midst of them doing it, they have a tendency to do things that are a little bit weird and doesn't seem to be helping society. It doesn't seem to be helping. GMOs aren't good for you. I think the jury's out on that. But here we are with GMOs, for instance. Because there was something a couple years ago where Bill Gates has an avocado out there. It's called like Real Peel or something like that, something weird. And I forgot what was the story about that, but it was like, I don't want a Bill Gates avocado. I don't want a Bill Gates apple. I don't want anything from a Bill Gates farm personally. Personally, I don't want one. I'm pretty sure I've had some or, whatever, but I'm not looking to go do that. Me personally. So I hear your point that these guys have a complex, and their idea of looking out for humanity is looking out for their perpetual wealth. And whether that's actual physical, money or having lots of land and lots of this and securing that generational wealth, blah, 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 or that name legacy or whatever it is that these guys are looking for. It's at all costs that they will have that. And if there's people that gotta go by the wayside, so be it. And that's the part about it where it's like, I agree with you that, well, you can't stop them from doing it. But I do think it is interesting to watch these guys that do have that complex. Because there's guys out there that are wealthy that aren't getting weird. So I think it does behoove people to know that these people exist, that have this superior complex, that move in these particular ways, and just monitor and watch them, because they'll have us watching something else that doesn't matter.
Like chatbots and AI.
Yeah, and so I'd rather keep my eyes on these guys to see what they're up to, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, and the more that these guys acquire, it seems to be the less with humanity they're in touch with, even though they claim that everything they do is for humanity.
That's the irony. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just say watch these guys closely, and Kyrie saying it out of all people, and I'm not surprised Kyrie said it, but I am surprised that he said it because this guy, he's in circles with people. So I'd be concerned for people who be talking like that and got a report somewhere later. But hey man, more power to Kyrie, more power to Kyrie. I don't know about Bill Gates got all the power he needs, I'd say. So more power to Kyrie, I think.
I mean, he doesn't really, he's not really involved in the day-to-day at Microsoft. So
yeah,
I guess the man needs something to do with his time. Speaking of Bill Gates, but whatever. These people just, my whole thing is like, stop thinking, and I'm not saying that people do this, although I'm pretty sure that there are people who do this, but I hope that most of us don't think that these individuals are not thinking of themselves first.
correct.
Like they're thinking about themselves first. So long as it continues to add to whatever portfolio that they needed to add it to, all the other ancillary benefits are okay. But as nice of a guy as Bill Gates presents himself to be, the dude cares about his ends. Trust me. You don't get to that point where you're that wealthy if you don't. So, yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely for real. And all of these people are out for themselves first and foremost. So, I actually had to look up a list because I couldn't let it go. Aretha Franklin, that was another one. Aretha Franklin. I'm surprised I couldn't remember that one. Nappy Longstocking.
Yes.
Gladys Fright. That's a good one. Scary at Tubman. Oh man. Martin was one of a kind, bro. Martin was one of a kind.
Yeah, I might watch a couple episodes tonight. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it, folks. We are signing off. JV wins Dogon SS. Another fantastic stream in the books. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Stay tuned if you're watching via live stream. If not, thank you for watching. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video. Hit that like button. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. We just want to be able to have some of this content reach more people on these wacky algorithms that we have absolutely no control over. Catch me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. Catch Conscious Approach on both Instagram and TikTok at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH. And once again, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Go ahead and stream us because we can be streamed nowadays, folks. You already know.
Right.
Otherwise, don't be a group thinker. Have a mind of your own. Think for yourself, as I always like to say. Shouts out to everybody in the community. Thank you very much for watching. We appreciate your patronage, and we'll see you on the next video.
And the name is Dogon SS. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS, on YouTube, DraftKings, MySpace, Facebook, Meta X. Hey man, if there's a social media platform, Dogon_SS is out there. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow, and all that good jazz. All right. And as I always say, guys, we greatly appreciate y'all for watching, sharing, okay, hitting that like button, and consciously leaving comments, because honestly, we couldn't do this without all of y'all's. So shouts out to y'all as well. And as I say every pod, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. So until the next episode, I got more brains than Robert Ory. We'll catch y'all next time. You.
That's right. That is right. We'll see y'all later, folks. We are out. Peace.
Peace. Go Canes. We here, y'all. We here. Go Canes. Yeah.